Hello, today I am sharing my best primers, powders, and setting sprays of 2020, continuing with my Best of Beauty 2020 series. These are the best that I discovered out of all of the products that I tried throughout the year. I really tried to narrow it down and not give you more than 3 or 4 products per category in these videos. Some of them only have 1 per category because that product just stood out to me that much. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I would love it if you're not subscribed, if you would consider subscribing before the end of this video. All right, let's go ahead and get into these best primers, powders, and setting sprays of 2020. All right, I'll start with primer because that's what we start our makeup with. So this is the Shiseido Waso Poreless Matte Primer. I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about this, but this was a huge hit for me in 2020. So in my last video, which was foundations and concealers, I talked about how my under eye area is dry and textured, but my face is oily combination. So I don't take my primer underneath my eyes, it's only on my face. And this is a great mattifying primer that doesn't make my skin feel dry or look makeup-y, and it makes my pores invisible. I find that a lot of pore minimizing primers don't do a great job of mattifying, and sometimes mattifying primers don't do a great job with pores. It's kind of hard to find one that does both really well, and this one does, and you only need the tiniest amount of this product, like half a pea size. I just find it does a really good job of leaving my skin feeling normalized and not tight or anything, while just helping my skin stay shine free throughout the day. I have loved this so much, and I'm actually surprised at how long this tiny little tube has lasted me, but that's because you really don't need a lot at all. This next primer is drugstore, and I talked about this in my top 10 drugstore purchases of 2020 video. I'll have that linked here in the corner as well as in my description box. If you're on mobile, hit the title below the video. If you're on desktop, look below that title and then you'll see show more, and just hit that and you can get to the description box where you'll find all of the products I'm talking about, as well as what I'm wearing on my face, my jewelry, and all that good stuff. But in that video, I talked about how I have misplaced this primer stick. I don't know where it is because I deal with makeup all over my house. I gather it together for videos, I take pictures and film and just do my makeup in various places, and I used it last week and I have no idea where it is. So I'm going to pop a picture of the Neutrogena It Matters mattifying stick. This is such a great drugstore primer, and I wasn't expecting that much from a stick primer because I tried a high-end one in the past and it didn't perform well. I elaborate more in that video. I'm just keeping it kind of surface level here since I did already talk about it. And definitely go check it out to see my top 10 drugstore purchases of 2020. I mean, I do share more drugstore products in these videos, but those are my top 10 cream of the crop drugstore products of the year. I'm just surprised at how lightweight it is, how it absorbs oil for a long time, and just wears so well under my makeup. So it was a surprise hit for me, and I like to have travel-friendly makeup products that are just, you know, convenient like that. This last one is an eyeshadow primer that I just find myself reaching for over and over because it just outperforms my other ones for a couple of reasons. So this is the Hourglass Veil eye primer. I find with other eye primers that they'll kind of do one thing but not everything, and this does everything. So it not only primes and is self-setting, but it also kind of blurs out my eyelid area. It's not fully concealing like a concealer, but it evens everything out sufficiently to where everything looks great when it's on top of it. But I also don't have to set it with powder if I don't want to, so that my eyeshadow goes on evenly. I find a lot of primers have a sticky, grippy consistency, which, you know, you kind of want so your eyeshadow lasts a long time, but because of that, it takes a lot to blend out that eyeshadow. And I also find that if I don't set with a translucent powder, my eyeshadows can still crease during the day. I just find I don't have to deal with that with this one at all. It's just kind of the best of everything for me, and I only need a tiny amount. It lasts a long time, and I just really love it. So this stands out for me because I do keep reaching for it and keep reaching for it. Let's go ahead and get the setting spray out of the way, because I know if you follow me, if you watch my videos, you're already gonna know what setting spray is in this video. and I do have one setting spray that has trumped them all, not only for 2020, but just in life. The Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray is just amazing. I can't get over how much I love this spray. It's alcohol-free, it's oil-free. The spray is perfect and it kind of blurs everything together and does give it an airbrush finish. It's weightless, it doesn't dry my skin out, and it sets my makeup to where it is bulletproof all day long. So it actually says it's got film former polymers in it that form a strong but flexible, breathable film across the skin to keep makeup in place. It's got Japanese green tea that supports the natural moisture barrier for soft, hydrated skin. It's got aromatic resin that blurs the appearance of pores. I just love this setting spray so much. I find that for my oily combination skin, and for a lot of people with oily combination skin, we need setting sprays with alcohol in them to make our makeup budge proof and, you know, just to keep it kind of shine free during the day. Now, this isn't a shine preventer. It's not a mattifying setting spray, but it doesn't change the finish of my makeup, and that is what it's supposed to do, and I love it for that. I just think it's such a great setting spray. I'm starting to lose my natural light. It's getting late in the afternoon, evening time, so I had to flip on my ring light, which is why the lighting suddenly looks different. I have one under eye powder in this video, and the rest are all, you know, kind of multitasking powders. You can use them under the eye or on the face. So this is just an under eye powder that I have found to be exceptional for the under eye area that I loved discovering in 2020. This is the Pat McGrath Labs Sublime Perfection Under Eye Powder. I have the shade Light, which looks white, but it appears translucent when you dust it under the eye. I say dust. I do have to press this with a sponge. It hasn't changed the texture or anything. I do usually use a slightly damp sponge, the same one that I use to put on my foundation. If I dust it, I find that I crease with it, but if I press it and then dust away excess, it works beautifully. It brightens, it blurs, it's weightless, very finely milled. It gives a nice soft focused finish that doesn't emphasize anything bad, and it's just really nice to have a good, reliable under eye setting powder, and I was happy to discover a new one in 2020. Now, I talked about this product already in my top 10 drugstore purchases of 2020 video, so I am going to gloss over this because you can see way more detail in that video. This is the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder. Now, I have the light shade to use as a setting powder because it appears translucent, and I have the medium shade to use as a finishing powder as the last step of my makeup. If you're confused on either of those steps, I will have a video linked in the description box for you because I have done a video on finishing powder versus setting powder and how it's done. This is talc free and it's a great price, and it gives a soft focus finish, kind of an airbrush finish. It's great under the eyes. It's great on the face. I like setting with it. I like finishing with it. It somehow keeps my shine away while giving me that kind of blurred, glowy effect. It's a really great drugstore option that I'm so glad I discovered in 2020. And again, I go in more detail in that video down below that you can check out. But bottom line is, great discovery in 2020 that I am so glad I found. So in that top 10 drugstore purchases of 2020 video, I talked about another drugstore powder being edged out for that e.l.f. powder. So this is that powder. This is the number 7 Lift and Luminate powder. I really sat there and stewed over which powder to put in that video because I do think that they're both really great powders. But in the end, the e.l.f. was a little bit less expensive, and it's also talc free, which I do love. They're both great for all skin types though. This sets your makeup or finishes your makeup, and it evens the skin tone, it smooths the skin, and it diffuses light and blurs things. It's a really, really beautiful powder. I have light medium. I keep meaning to get the shade lighter to set with it a little bit better, but this is great as a finishing powder shade for me. I love this powder. It's really, really pretty. Actually, maybe I'll touch up with it right now and we'll just, you know, see what it does here on camera because I'm getting a little bit of on-camera shine that you can't see in person, but I can see in my monitor. But you know, when you swirl it on like this, it just kind of diffuses everything. I mean, look, even my blush looks better. I mean, it's just kind of amazing the way that works. My shine's gone, my blush looks better. Everything looks all fixed and beautiful. This is a great powder. I wasn't actually expecting to like this powder because it has a tint to it and it's a setting powder. And I said earlier, I don't typically like to set with powders that have a tint to them because they change the shade of the liquid products, the concealer and the foundation that I have on. They make them darken a little and oxidize, and I don't like that. But I tried it anyway, and I'm glad I did because this is actually a hit product for me for 2020. This is the Laura Mercier translucent powder in the shade Translucent Honey. Now this shade is actually technically made for medium skin tones with olive, warm, and golden undertones. Now, I'm not sure what my lighting's doing right now. I mean, you know, I work with a lot of natural light and sometimes I do look pink toned, but I have light medium skin with warm, neutral undertones. So technically I should be in the translucent shade, which is for fair, medium, or tan tones, since this is for just medium tones. There is also a medium deep translucent for medium deep to deep skin tones, FYI. I think the reason why this works for me so well is because it is still translucent while it's tinted. She did some kind of a magical formula here. I mean, it's probably her normal translucent powder formula that somehow allows it to set my concealer, my foundation beautifully without altering anything, but it somehow blurs imperfections. It does the same things as the regular translucent powder. It locks everything in all day. It helps reduce shine. It's weightless. It's matte without being too matte. It just is a really beautiful powder that I've enjoyed setting with as well as using as a finishing powder. I think we're getting kind of a theme here with these multi-purpose powders in this video. I'm quite shocked at how much I enjoyed this. I actually just thought I would only like this as a finishing powder, but I've been loving it as a setting powder too. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out my best foundations and concealers of 2020 video. I'll have it linked here in the corner as well as in the description box with other relevant videos and all the products in this one. If you're not subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button and become part of the family so that you don't miss all of the wonderful December content that I have coming your way. And if you want extra bonus content, some behind the scenes videos, sneak peeks, things like that, be sure to check that out either with the join button if you're on desktop or if you're on mobile. I have a link in my description box. I hope you found this helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.